Of the countless thousands of wars fought in history, one has been singled out to be demonized: the Crusades. A series of wars fought between the 11th century and the 13th century, the perception of these battles have been disparaged to an incredible degree. In this video, let's address some lies that are spreading about the Crusades and explain why the Crusaders aren't just a bunch of senseless, belligerent barbarians. Let's dive in. The Crusades were a series of invasions made by Christendom against the Muslim caliphates from 1096 and 1291. They served two primary goals. One, liberate Jerusalem, which was considered a holy land by the Christians, and two, protect Christian lands and people, as the Muslims have made significant attacks into once Christian lands. But why and how is it being misrepresented in today's media? From modern day pop culture to even the History Channel, the Crusades are villainized. For example, the movie Kingdom of Heaven depicts the Crusaders as pernicious and savage, while depicting the Muslims with great acumen and shrewdness, always remaining calm and collected. It's as if the Crusaders randomly decided to wage a war of destruction against the peaceful and pacifist Muslims. This couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, the Crusades were highly defensive in nature. Many lands that were considered Muslim at the time, like Spain, and even today, like Turkey, were once highly Christian areas. The Muslims have accomplished massive invasions into Spain, Turkey, and the regions around Jerusalem. There were certain tolerances given by the caliphates, but the invasions did not cease, and when the Seljuks threatened the local population of Christians, as well as blocking pilgrimages from Christendom, something that was once tolerated, the cries for liberation was picked up by the Latin Church. In 1095, then Pope Urban II approved military support in which the Crusades would begin. Even if the later Crusades have less justification than previous ones, they still deserve far less scrutiny than they currently have. A main theme is a singling out of the Crusades to villainize and deem deserving of condemnation. There exist many wars of expansion, invasion, and a majority of wars in history have had fairly poor justifications. So, why should the Crusades be singled out and demonized when being significantly more justified than hundreds of other wars? Another misconception that exists is that the Christian forces were unorganized, barbaric, and did whatever they pleased. This ignores a fundamental difference between the Crusaders and the defending Muslims. While the Muslims were united under one national banner, under one army, the Christian forces were highly dispersed, with forces from all across Europe congregating, making a singular organized army next to near impossible. For the nature of Europe during this period, it should be considered impressive that such a rally was not only possible, but done successfully several times. The Crusades also exemplified values of chivalry in Europe, arguably something that was positive. Some others point to the supposed brutality of the Crusades, but fail to acknowledge the countless other wars with a similar if not higher level of brutality. Of course the Crusades were brutal, they were a series of wars after all, but why should they be held under such a high standard and be deemed the most horrendous war, while there are many instances of the same events? In conclusion, the Crusades are not the way most people see them in the modern day, but a nuanced topic with many angles to examine from. While most think that the Crusades are completely unjustified and the Crusaders were bellicose warmongers, this could not be further from the truth. So, as we examine events like Crusades in history, let's use a just and neutral lens to view all events equally.